Thank you, Chrysula. Thanks, Pilinet, for being our event sponsor. Navigating the future, generative AI's impact on the maritime industry. Let's welcome Mr. Elias Stavropoulos, Account Technical Leader in IBM.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, I'm Elias Stavropoulos. I'm a technology architect and an account technical leader for the major accounts for IBM in Greece. So, today, I would like to spend some time with you to discuss, to present the impact of generative AI to the maritime, discuss a couple of use cases that we believe it will actually have an impact and a quick win in your industry. Starting with, I would like to share with you a recent study that the Department of IBM Business Value conducted in a couple of thousand CEOs around the world, cross-industry, maritime included. And as you can see, is a common understanding and a common, let's say, agreement that generative AI will have a big impact and will help organizations compete or gain advantages to the ones that are not going to follow. It is also an impressive technology to use, but at the same time, we receive quotes and feedback from customers that are also scared to use this technology. Let's see why. So, surprise and impress. I believe everybody was surprised and impressed almost a couple of years ago when the first generative AI came into consumer use. Last year, in IBM, we launched a radical technology, a technology that is based on generative AI and is provided to the end users as a digital assistant. It was the way of IBM to democratize the technology to employees around the world and provide generative AI capabilities with an easy-to-use manner through natural language. Because I believe we'll agree when we say that the impact and success of a technology project is the adoption and how easy it is actually for the end users and employees to use it on their everyday work. So imagine how this will assist an HR talent acquisition manager that is actively looking for new members to join the organization, join vessels, or onshore help with back offices and other processes. So imagine how it will save, how much time this will save if we allow a chatbot-like interface to this HR recruit manager to actually type in what is the job description, what are the talents and skills that he's looking for, and then allow generative AI with natural language understanding to actually go through different repositories that in many cases there are silos of repositories, or even publish, for example, a LinkedIn ad for this job opening. How much time it will save him if this technology is actually going to screen all the resumes and pick the top talents and allow him to review the top talents instead of going through all this information. So I believe we all understand that it's a radical technology it's something that will help employees and maritime industry in general to go through it. And it's not only for HR talent, this can be extended to many use cases, onshore or offshore. Imagine a vessel when reaching, for example, a port, how much manual work needs to be done in order to get your load and go back to the sea. I mean, it opens up new worlds. But let's understand now what is that is scary with all this technology in generative AI. In the previous panels, we see some of the panelists were skeptic about if AI is ready to be deployed and be, for example, completely autonomous, or we need to monitor it. But let's go through it. Now, to understand why people are scared of this technology, it has to do with how this technology is actually, where technology is this actually based. And it's based on large language models. So there are big AI models that are trained from internet data, massive data sets of internet data. But where is the problem? The problem is that those data are valid for the time, until the time that this model was published, and may not be accurate or valid after that. It will be out of date. The other challenge that this technology brings is that with LLMs, we don't have a capability to trace and verify the source of this information. And last but not least, LLMs, they believe they know everything. So they will provide an answer even if they're not confident enough. And this is something that you may have heard as hallucination. So what shall we do? Shall we stop using them? Of course not. Because the benefits we can get are much more. And let's see how we can tackle this problem with generative AI in the enterprise and maritime industry. So first of all, we're not looking and we're not interested in an enterprise for internet data. We want to ask and get responses based on our data, but our data are not in the large language model. So we need to find, we have the way to actually use this technology using, for example, semantic search or retrieval augmented generation approaches in order to actually search in our data. So we have the information we need, we have up-to-date information. It is possible to trace the source of the information and verify that this is actually valid. But we can also instruct generative AI models not to respond unless they have a proper level of confidence. So I mentioned semantic search. So this comes in aspects of enterprise search, but all of you may say that enterprise search is nothing new. This technology has been around with us for a couple of decades now, but this is correct. It has been around in an approach of syntactic search. We're actually looking for specific keywords or phrases, and this technology, enterprise search, will go traditionally in our data sets and look for the specific words. But introducing semantic search, now we have the capability for the technology to understand the context and provide results that are relevant to our question. And I believe you understand the examples that I have here. Imagine an employee is looking for day off, but in the HR documents, it will not be mentioned as day off. It will mention, for example, as a paid leave of absence. This is something that generative AI technology will understand and will respond with the appropriate documents. And this is a first step. this is something that will allow us to start being more comfortable with the new technology, and then we can make the next step, the next leap, and perhaps introduce conversational AI, conversational search. So again, imagine a digital agent that you will start asking your questions, and depending if the solution has the understanding or not, it will start responding with perhaps an additional question or with an answer to your question that is relevant. But most importantly, along this quest and answers that will generate, it will include the source information, the source document, for example, which is very important for the employee to understand. So one of the questions I have received a lot is how this technology will help with crew training. And it's no secret that all the crew you have on the vessels are very well trained. They know exactly their work. They know where to look in for the information they are looking for in the manuals, equipment manuals, and everything, with the specialized terms in order to find what they're looking for. But this is not the same for the employees on shore. They don't get through this training, and they shouldn't perhaps go through all this specialized training. They could use this technology, for example, to look for the part in their own terms, and then be able to, help with a request they receive from the vessel based on the specific parts and everything that they need to do. So that brings us to a different question. Could one LLM fit all, and can we trust? I believe the answer to this question is already discussed. There is no one LLM that does everything. The same LLM that does natural language understanding cannot do autonomous driving, cannot do weather forecasts, etc. So in order to scale the AI in your organizations, you will have multiple LLMs that you will need to use. But how, if it's difficult or it's a challenge to monitor and trust one LLM, how you can do that with many? This is actually the concern of more than 80% of the business leaders out there. So the answer is that you need to have a tool that will allow end-to-end monitoring and governance of the LLMs that you are using. Because this tool will allow you to have explainability, will allow you to know that you are using this technology for appropriate manners. You will not have bias or racism or anything like that, so you will be able to trust the results that you are actually getting. And where IBM does come into this picture. What's next is our answer to all these problems and use cases that I have already presented to you. It's not an LLM. It's a platform that you can base and execute your AI strategy. It's a platform that can be deployed on-premise, on cloud, on any cloud provider, or even on specialized appliances that you can have offline, perhaps on vessels. It's a platform that has all the tooling required to integrate and get all this data you need from any source that allows you to get those data from, that allows you to implement and select the LLMs that you want to use, and of course provide an interface, even as a chatbot, as a digital assistant, or even integrate with any other of your applications. But why you should choose us? Well, apart from hybrid cloud, the strategy of IBM is also AI and an open ecosystem. So we have open technologies in this platform. You are not vendor locked in. you can trust this platform because we have the governance tool to manage end-to-end all the development, monitoring, execution and monitoring of AI. And it's targeted for enterprises. It's not for consumer use, so it's prepared for you. And the analysts also believe that. There are studies that they have us as a leader in this market. And we also have many customers around the globe. Some of them maritime, they're not public reference, so are not mentioned here. IBM is among the actually companies, believe it or not, that were using our technology. And we have seen great results and had a great impact in this. And with that, I would like to thank you for having me here. Please reach out to me if you want to discuss this matter further. Adonis, if there are no further questions.
Check just now, no questions from the audience. Thank you
Good.
very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.